Hey, what up, my comic book peeps? Today I'm gonna be doing a review. Be reviewing X-Men, the Dark Phoenix Saga. Have it right here. It's like some type of variant cover. See it right there. This covers issues 129 to 137. This is written by Chris Claremont. Artwork is by John Byrne, and inks is by Terry Austin. Now I'm gonna be reviewing this. I'll review first some of the extras it has on the trade. It has a few extras on the last 120. That's what issues it covers, 129 through 137. So I believe, I guess, 2000 reprint. Not sure. Here you go, the Dark Phoenix Saga. That's the first page. Chris Claremont, John Byrne, Terry Austin. You know what? I gotta give credit to the colorists. Who's the colors on this? Because they do a really good job. Clintus Wine and Bob Sharon. Really good coloring on this. Chapter 1, 2, each chapter being each issue. Issue 1 is the God Spare the Child. Issue 2, Dazzler. God Spare the Child is Kitty Pryde's first appearance. Issue 2, Dazzler's first appearance, and so forth. Wolverine Alone, the fourth issue being Wolverine's first solo. Some good stuff here, guys. Some good issues in this trade. Good storyline. Here's some stuff written by Stan Lee. Well, obviously this was reprinted in 2000. So yeah, this was printed in 2000. Look, nice artwork right there. One, you see how it has the cover of Nightcrawler. It says Chapter 1, God Spare the Child. Chapter 2, Dazzler. See Dazzler there. Chapter 3 shows Storm. See, now this, after each issue ends, it shows them like this, which I don't like. I would have rather, like, a lot of the new printings now, they show after each issue it shows the actual cover of the next issue. Alright, once you finish the trade, the last four pages, this is the extra content it has. Not a lot of extra content, it's just a trade. They tend to leave that for the hardcovers. See, it just has content of Uncanny X-Men issue 129. That's the first chapter. See the cover there. Then it has here chapter 130. Dazzler there. That's the actual cover. The next issue 131. Chapter 3. I wish it would have done it the other way around, where these covers would have been after each issue instead. Here you get the next ones. That's the Wolverine Alone, Wolverine's first solo. That's the issue that really blew him up right there. But yeah, not a lot of extra content. You know, it's a trade. Trade paperbacks seem to not have too much content on them. Too much bonus material. Alright guys, now the X-Men was originally a team that was formed in the 60s, I believe 68, I'm not sure. And it consisted of 5 main players. Jean Grey, Scott Summers aka Cyclops, Beast, Angel, and Iceman. Now the book didn't sell very well. The team was kind of lame. It was kind of like their second team after the success of Fantastic Four. Hey, let's make another team. So Stan Lee and I believe Jack Kirby, they were like, let's make another team book. They just fight typical villains. How the same as how Fantastic Four started, but Fantastic Four had a little background where the families would fight or whatever. Here it was just the heroes, they fight a villain, they're done. Next issue, same thing. So it didn't sell very well, wasn't that great. So I said, how can we make this team cool? So getting to the 70s, like the mid to late 70s, they made a new team where they added Wolverine, Colossus, Storm, a few other characters, and attempt to make this team cooler and more hip or whatever, you know, and also to make it more diverse. Wolverine being Canadian, Colossus being Russian, Storm being black, and Nightcrawler being German. So, you know, they try to suck at appeal. Alright guys, now this trade itself, it's 10 issues. The first 5 issues being the storyline of the Hellfire Club, which leads into the next 5 issues, which is the storyline of the Dark Phoenix Saga. Now, between these 10 issues from issue 129 to 138, or 137, I mean, you're gonna get a couple of first appearances, some introductions to new characters that will later on be X-Men, and a couple villains. Alright, now this panel right here says the whole bottom panel. Wingard's talking to Sebastian Shaw, but you just see him in the shadows. You don't really know who he is yet. You can't see him. And here you go, this panel. This is the first appearance of White Queen, Emma Frost. That's the first time she's ever presented in comic. Alright guys, the story starts off with the X-Men on their way to, see if we get it clear here. On their way to Chicago, to the Windy City. Here are the buildings. Really nice coloring. You see the shading here. You see how the shading off of the water, so you can see the reflection of the buildings. And I really like the colorist here. You see how he added some greens there to kind of give it a better look, like not just all black ink. Got some green in there, and that really makes all the difference, guys. It gives it a lot more detail. Awesome art right here. John Bernard, but the colors is just as good. Now this is Kitty Pryde, a main player in the X-Men. Later on she'll end up being she ends up leading the X-Men right now in the current run. So see, that's Captain Pryde. This is the first panel she appears in, her first appearance. Now the story starts off with White Queen Emma Frost shows up. There's a new mutant kid in town. They want to get to her before the X-Men do and get her on their team. Now here you go. This is that's the first panel that Sebastian Shaw appears in, being issue 130. It's first appearance of... No, I think they're still towards the end of 129. First appearance of Sebastian Shaw. Get a good look at the man. Look at the detail here. Really strong inking by Terry Austin. I like the way they do the shading here. It's like a lot of little dots instead of just one solid black. And then over here is just solid black. That really looks great. It adds that much more detail. He really has that sinister look. You see the shading on top of the eyebrows too, where it's just a lot of thin lines instead of solid black like that, which makes it look so much better. And you see the coloring. A lot of these reprints, you see a lot of like the color will go way outside of the lines. This does a really good job staying in the lines. Now, to compare this art and this technology of color panels and everything to the current books would be unfair. So you always have to remember, when you see this stuff, you gotta compare it to other stuff of the same era. And when you compare this art and this coloring to other stuff that came out around the same time, this is really like top notch, guys. This is really top notch. Written in 1980, so in the 80s, the 80s hadn't officially started. It was 1980, so in the 70s, disco was big. You know, it was on and popping, and everybody was rocking their bell bottoms and all that good stuff. So they had, you know, the disco balls in the clubs and all that crazy scene. So they decided, hey, how cool would it be if we made this character, and they introduced Dazzler that sings disco, and she's like a celebrity, you know, it happens to be a mutant. So it also introduces the first appearance of Dazzler. Obviously that didn't take off as much as... Alright guys, that's the first appearance of Dazzler right there. You see her rocking out. Look, she has the power to make all these sparkles and stuff, this fireworks show. So she uses that to her advantage to make money and throw big concerts. You know, why not? Use your powers for something that can help you out in life. Here's Scott Summers and Jean Grey. They're still looking for Dazzler. They know there's a new mutant around. They're looking for her. So is the Hellfire Club, because they're, you know, their job is to recruit mutants. When they find out they have powers, they could talk to them before the government or other evil mutants get to them. Alright guys, now the first storyline is about there's this group called the Fire Club. They're out trying to get new mutants that barely discovered their, you know, hitting puberty, barely getting their new mutant powers and stuff. Try to get recruits for their cause, to help them, to manipulate them, tell them use your powers for this, for that, for stuff that benefits them. They're real, you think it's George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and shit, the way they dress. They're like 18th century style, really high class snobby guys. Then you got the X-Men. They also go walking around recruiting new students, teenagers and whatnot that barely discovered their mutant powers. Tell them, oh look, show them how to be responsible with their powers and guide them towards the good side. Use them for for good. And obviously this is a conflict of interest because they're both going after the same recruits. This is like a popular high school athlete. You got different colleges coming after you, and obviously one college is gonna step on the toes of the other. Same thing, obviously the X-Men are stepping on their toes. They don't like it. Hence the problem starts. Good. Now the thing here I don't like is they make Jean Grey's always like the lame character. They make her look real weak, the dancer in distress, you know? You feel me? Like she's always gotta be like the one dragging them down and we all gotta go save her. So here this team, this Hellfire team decides, okay, we're going after the X-Men because they're getting in our way. So we're gonna manipulate Jean Grey. Then you got this guy Wingard, we call him. Alright, it starts off with this guy Wingard, they call him AKA Mastermind. He starts seducing Jean Grey mentally. Here you see he's getting at her, spitting game, making her believe everything he says because he's really brainwashing her with his mutant abilities. And now she's falling into this other world and so yeah guys, she's falling into a bad crowd, And here's Cyclops, how he normally is, but this is what she sees. This is what's really going on. But since she's being brainwashed, this is what she's seeing. So the art, this John Byrne art, it really does a good job of, describing everything for, the sign of a good artist is let the art tell you its own story. So it could help pick up the slack for the dialogue, so you wouldn't need as much of this. See here, you kind of get the idea of what's going on just with the art. And they do a good job. See, I like the art here. Look at the lighting and how they do the dark shadows to really give her that sinister look, and the lighting here on this guy to really make it like a horror, almost like a horror vibe to it here. Like they just unleashed a big evil. And this is the beginning of her unleashing some new power she didn't know she had. The rest of the X-Men. Here's our Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Storm, Colossus. You see everybody's trapped and caught up. Here Jean Grey's been turned to Black Queen. So you see they've handled, this is the Hellfire Club. They've handled all the X-Men. Wolverine's the only one around and he's their only hope. Check out this great artwork by John Byrne right here. Awesome panel, awesome. This half the page. It's Wolverine alone. This is the first page to the last page to the issue before. His solo appearance, his solo story. Says, okay suckers, you're taking your best shot. Now it's my turn. So things to come on the next issue. Look at the awesome artwork. He falls into a sewer here, so you see, look at how they drew the water green instead of blue. And a lot of dark inking, a lot of black on it to really make it look muddy and dirty. Let you know it's not the ocean, It's let you know this is some it's on the sewers. See his suit all tore up. Really detailed stuff, guys. The lines, everything stays in the lines, all the painting and inks. I like the way they draw hairs on his arm and everything. Really a great panel. Here you see him hiding out. Here's everybody else. He's just hiding out back. Here he unleashes, he jumps off the roof. Oh, they're gonna catch him there. Slice, bam, takes one guy out. Bam, takes two guys out. Three guys, that's three guys. Now here's the last and final guy. Wolverine's like, come on, you want some? And you see him shaking like, no. He's really unsure, like after what he just seen him do to everyone else. Yeah, so look at that sinister look in Wolverine's face, like he's just having fun smashing on all the Hellfire Club. This is where Wolverine really started to shine, and this storyline really does a good job showing how how vicious he can be and relentless. He's definitely the main character in this storyline. Doesn't do anything to evolve the character, but it does a good job of making him look badass and setting the tone for kind of what he is during the his X-Men fight scenes and stuff. Usually the guy that takes initiative, and here they do a good job making him look real like heroic, coming to save the day, and really helped him really helped him shine and get popular, because up to this point he didn't really have a storyline like that with him yet. Alright guys, now once you get to the second half of the book, the second storyline, once Jean Grey's officially Dark Phoenix, she becomes more interesting and kind of a badass. She's not all boring, she's more unpredictable, which is good. It's a nice change of pace. And at the time when this book came out, it was like a big storyline, because heroes or villains, they didn't die too often. So here, people die. There's stuff that happens that affects the whole Marvel universe, not just the X-Men titles and not just this character. Here you see her dealing with Professor Xavier. You see that the Phoenix really is taking over her body, and it's really, she's really losing more and more control, guys. You see Professor Xavier off his wheelchair. You see her and you see the Dark Phoenix, like possessing her, really towering over him. Now you see him there, and the Phoenix is just growing bigger. See it growing bigger? Look at her now and look how big it is. It's like it just totally took over her already. That's not Jean Grey anymore. Okay guys, now here you see her already. She's the Dark Phoenix now. Obviously the suit turned red. I like the way they draw her eyes white, so something's like possessing her. She's like possessed basically by this Dark Phoenix power. It's not really her. It's just possessing her body. Much like Venom. The Venom possesses his host, like Eddie Brock and that other guy, Flash Thompson. Now look at here. This happens, and look at here, the Fantastic Four. Like, hey, something big's going on. What is it? Is it Galactus? The big energy, an unbelievable proportion of power. There, that lets you know that the Fantastic Four knows something's going on. Spider-Man, that Firebird image. What is it? Doctor Strange, I sense images of great mystical powers and great passion. Silver Surfer, even in the cosmos out in space. But see, back then, you see these, it lets you know something big just happened, that all the other Marvel titles, it affected all the other titles going on. This is their idea of a tie-in back in the 80s. This is back in 1980. Towards 85, 88, you start getting, towards the late 80s, tie-ins now for this story. This was a big storyline. Now, this would have all these tie-ins. This would have a 3-issue miniseries. They would tie into this. The Dark Phoenix, and she's in space. You see the stars, the whatever you call these things, these rings, like Jupiter has. Do a really good job on that. Now here she's running out of energy. Guys, she gets her power from the sun. So she flies straight into the star, which is a smaller sun. Bam, hits it. There's a big splash that comes off. She hits it to regain energy. Once this big splash comes off, see, she hits it, boom, and it just, all the fire comes. That effect it has, it's coming off much like a sonic boom type of thing, and it's hitting this planet. Now these are all the aliens in that planet. Boom, all these aliens in this planet are just about to get turned into ashes, guys, into charcoal. See it evolving more. Boom, it's hitting that, burning it more. Completely charred that planet, guys. The art does a really good job here, just showing you panel for panel what just went down. Alright, so obviously this bitch got to pay, right? She just destroyed a whole planet, killed a bunch of people. That's some big shit that just went down. So obviously other galaxies and other planets took notice of this, and the big dog showed up. Like the Kree Empire, Captain Marvel, if you're familiar with him, he shows up. He's part of the Kree Empire. The Skrulls, they show up, and the big one is the Share Empire. They all showed up to enforce the law, make sure this doesn't happen again, and make sure whoever's responsible for this gets punished like they should. And the X-Men are, they're having a hard time with this. Oh, but Jean Grey's our friend. And it's like, come on, be realistic. She might be your friend, but she just did like a big terrorist act. She just destroyed a whole planet, killed a bunch of people. Who knows when she'll do it again, right? Oh, you're gonna say it's an accident that's gonna fix everything? Nah, that shit ain't gonna slide that easy, you know? And it shouldn't. Alright guys, great stuff. If you're a fan of space, sci-fi, if you're a Marvel fan and you like Fantastic Four, Guardians of the Galaxy, Quasar, that type of stuff, definitely recommend this. Highly recommend it. Read it if you haven't read it. And if you, it's a 35-year-old story, so most likely you already heard of it, you know how it ends. But if you never heard of this story or you never read it, definitely check it out. It makes it that much sweeter because everything will be new to you. And when this originally came out, think about it. When this originally came out, they didn't know what was gonna happen, and it was fresh. It was a new release, and they read it. It was so great. It's a lot of unpredictable stuff. Now it takes a little bit from it because we mostly already know the story. But either way, I would still recommend reading it. I give this one a 9. It's a real great story. Definitely check it out, guys. That's all I got for you today. If you have any other books you might want me to review or I might have in my collection so I could read and do a video on, let me know. Post your comments on the bottom. If you're new to this channel, first time checking it out, you like what you